Still looking at me.
Hey, greetings ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing? Good afternoon and welcome back into another reaction video. It's your boy, the multitasker, Mighty Avenger, at your service. I'm doing alright, a little drained, yeah. It ain't the heat, no. I'm talking about the game from last night, and already enough that I love this game so much, and it's such addicting, and I know the fact that I speak highly about it, and it's the kind of the same addiction as Dragon Ball Fighters. And maybe that I will attempt to do of doing a solo on the arcade, maybe to do it on a hard mode just to see how far will I get. So that will be for another time. But I'm sure that most of you are aware that the allegations against Vince McMahon that has to do with the hush money and giving it to of the former employees, and that really got escalated. And first off, shame. So Mr. McMahon has immediately stepped out as the CEO of the company, and I did hear that Stephanie will take over as the interim, or that's another word for the as the chairwoman of WWE. So not to mention then that we actually get to hear the words from the big boss. That's going to be later on tonight on SmackDown. So I guess it's very roughly that we're going to see that as the beginning of the show. So this is going to be interesting. But I'm pretty sure that he got some words that he wants to address this, so it's no surprise there. But in the meantime, I do got a request from Mick, and that looks like I'm going to be doing another Try Not to Laugh challenge, and that apparently there is a superhero movie that I never heard of this before, and clearly I have not. And apparently that it's called, excuse me, VelociPastor. Okay, wait a minute. So you're telling me that it's a combination of a Velociraptor, but with the word pastor as a father or padre? Really? Okay. But nevertheless, this is a recap video by Elvis the Alien, where he expressed and wanted to give his thoughts of the movie that's quote unquote a movie so stupid I fell in love with it. But let's do this. Let's make it happen. And more importantly, time to react, but also at the same time, if I laugh or if I make a sniggering sound, this is what's going to happen. So I'm not going to lose. I'm not going to lose. So let's begin.
This movie cured my boyfriend's ball cancer. Can't thank you enough. If that's the kind of power this movie has, then I guess we're in for a bit of a ride.
Lord,
people have been recommending this movie to me for weeks.
The movie?
So I'm doing what I do best, and I'm sacrificing my soul for your guys' entertainment. I'm going to be watching this movie called The VelociPastor. You heard that correct. This is a movie about a pastor that can turn into a dinosaur. And I thought a movie about a drone being possessed by someone was weird. But here we are. The movie starts by saying this: Rated X by an all-Christian jury. So really it's rated PG. Then we're introduced to Doug. He exits the church and his parents are there, and he watches as they indiscriminately just blow up. I heard that they blew up, but on the screen it just shows VFX car on fire.
Are you serious?
If it isn't readily apparent, obviously this movie is a giant meme, and I love it. Doug is all upset that his parents just blew up in front of him for no reason. So he goes to Father Stewart and he's like, why would God let this happen? And then Father Stewart consoles him in the weirdest way possible. He says, it's what parents do. They die on you. But they didn't just die. They were killed in a terrible accident, like a second before. That was forgotten about by the editor. Clearly, it wasn't that big of a deal. So Father Stewart tells Doug to go where God won't
on the first
follow.
part of the
That's
movie.
kind of an interesting thing to say to a pastor. If you're super religious, wouldn't you say like, oh, God works in mysterious ways? But no, this guy's like, just go where God won't see you. So Doug travels to China. You can tell because the text on screen says China. And he also says the word China. China. Yes, he's in China.
China.
So there's this random woman running from a ninja. She gets shot in the back with an arrow by someone who clearly doesn't know how to use a bow. I'm surprised it had any force behind it.
Oh,
she runs into Doug with an arrow through her chest.
Backwards.
And Doug goes, "Are you hurt?" "No, she's fine, dude. She's fine. Look at her. Just look at her." So she gives Doug this horn thing. And she says in Mandarin something like, "Destroy it or they will hunt you forever." And then the horn burns Doug's hand. It's a magical horn. Magical mystery horn from the dinosaurs that turns you into a dinosaur. So Doug wakes up from a dream and Father Stewart is there. Stewart gives Doug like a super awkward hug.
Bye.
And apparently Doug is very hungry.
It is awkward.
I mean, he keeps saying it over and over, so it must be true.
Hungry.
Whenever something comes to mind, he just says it over and over. He's in China, so China, 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 China. I'm hungry. Hungry, 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 hungry. If he was in a strip club, would he just walk around saying boob, 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 boob? So then we're introduced to this hooker named Carol and her pimp, Frankie Mermaid.
If he said that.
And apparently his name is Frankie Mermaid because he's swimming in bitches. The movie said it, not me.
Because you're swimming in bitches.
You goddamn right.
They could have fooled me. Because, I mean, his hairline is looking a little disastrous. Maybe he meant, like, he has a lot of, like, bitches working for him. That's probably what he meant. He greets Carol very nicely, but then he slaps her. It's very out of nowhere and abrupt.
Carol, hello.
Oh!
And he's like, "Stop questioning what I do." But she didn't question what you do. Maybe she did earlier, but we didn't see that. So it's very confusing. The next scene, Doug is in the middle of the woods at night. He's transforming into some sort of lizard. I'm guessing this is when his dinosaur transformations begin. Carol is also wandering around this place at night, and she gets approached by this guy with a gun. He's like, "Give me all your money." Little did he know, there is a dinosaur man around, and he gets jumped by Dino Doug. So Dino Doug is on top of this guy, eating him, but then he just kind of gets off of him. And then the guy gets up and starts walking. Like, why did he get off of him? Did he want to digest the first couple bites? Like, what? I'm confused. What? So then the guy takes out his BB gun. It's one of those awful, like, single-fire airsoft pistols where you have to, like, shoot and then cock it, then shoot and cock it. In this scene, we get our first glimpse of Dino Doug in all his glory. The VelociPastor. It looks very realistic. Practical effects on point, guys. Nicely done. The next day, Carol walks in on Doug in bed. So, what? Did she bring the dino home? Or does the dinosaur thing kind of work like a werewolf? Did she carry him back? I mean, that's kind of hard to believe. She'd have to be pretty strong, right? She says, "Ooh, last night was amazing," insinuating that she banged a dinosaur. I mean, she's a hooker, so maybe she can make that work. But, what? It's later revealed that she didn't bang the dinosaur. So she reveals to Doug that he transformed into a dinosaur and ate someone, and his response is hilarious.
What?
I love the terrible manual zoom. It like goes out of focus. Let's see if I can do that.
What?
In this scene, we get the conundrum, you know, of a priest that turns into a dinosaur because he's like, dinosaurs don't exist.
Dinosaurs never existed. And even if they did, I don't.
You hear the sentence that says that dinosaurs, they never existed. He put the ED of that word when he should have said that dinosaurs, they never exist. Yeah, I think that's got to be a terrible dialogue of the sentence.
It's forming to one.
So Carol's like, "Yo, I can prove it. I can bring you to the body that you killed." And Doug's like, "All right, let's go see it." But he has nothing to wear, so he borrows Carol's dress. An orange dress. He looks very cute. So they go to the woods where the body is, and she's like, oh, here's the body. And Doug's like, oh my God, I can't believe it. So then she tells him that she's a hooker. And then she touches him, and he freaks out.
Touch not thy sinning hands, Jezebel!
So then Carol tries to convince Doug to use his powers to hunt down bad guys and kill them as a dinosaur. And Doug's like, hell no, I'm not doing that. I'm late for my confessions. So he runs away. How does he know it's time for confessions? He doesn't have a watch on him. Did he just guess? Was it the positioning of the sun that gave it away? So Doug rushes to confessions, and who is there to confess other than Frankie Mermaid? You know, the pimp that's swimming in bitches. I'm kind of confused why he named himself Frankie Mermaid. There's a lot of things that swim that are cooler than mermaids, right? Like Frankie Shark, Frankie Stingray. I mean, that would make more sense, right? Because stingrays have a long stinger, and you could nickname your dick the Stinger. You could even have a stinger tattooed on your dick. Maybe I'm thinking about this too much. So Frankie confesses to a bunch of heinous shit, and one of those being that he killed Doug's parents in front of the church.
This fucking old couple.
He did that?
I blew up their car. It was right in front of this church. Kind of gave me a hard on, Padre.
And Frankie says that the reason he killed Doug's parents is because it was a job. You'll see who wanted his parents dead later, but... So Doug, he doesn't like that very much. So he turns into a dinosaur. Not completely, just his hands. So Doug uses his raptor claws to reach through the confession booth screen and grab Frankie Mermaid by the neck.
Might as well just kill me now. Okay!
He's slashed real good, and he starts screaming because he's in pain. Oh goodness, ouch, that hurts. Frankie dies in the church, I'm assuming. Where was Father Stewart? He just wasn't around conveniently, and nobody else was either, so that's strange. And where did Doug hide the body? That doesn't matter, let's move on. So Doug goes back to Carol, and he's like, all right, let's do this thing. I'm Dino Doug, the superhero, and you are my hooker sidekick. He's kind of like a weird version of the Hulk. You know, not as powerful, has sharper nails, just not as strong. And then we get these beautiful lines of dialogue. Carol says,
I don't know much about God.
And then Doug replies,
I don't know much about dinosaurs.
It's beautiful. Modern Shakespeare. So Carol and Doug have this moment when you think they're about to kiss, but then they just kind of have this bro high five. You know, they can't kiss. He's a priest. So
yeah,
a dino
still
priest. That kills people. Then we get a montage of Doug training, devouring bad guys, teaching Carol about religion, and just being a straight badass dino man. In the next scene, we get shown a very convincing ninja camp. Remember those ninjas in the beginning? Yeah, well, here's their camp. They're wearing like these dollar store ninja outfits. There's this white dude there too. I mean, you'll see who he is later, but... So the master ninja guy is like, all right, we need to find this dinosaur man and kill him. And then we'll be able to do our drug stuff in peace. And then they both maniacally laugh like evil geniuses. It's very uncomfortable. And then we see Doug reading a book called Crime 2. I think it's supposed to be the sequel to the original Book of Crime. Doug really wants that inside scoop on the criminals so he can take them down as a dinosaur. Father Stewart comes into the room, and Doug doesn't want him to see he's reading this book of crime. He very cleverly hides the book by putting the Bible over the other book. But the Bible is kind of small. It's very obvious that he's not actually reading the Bible. He's very cunning. You can tell. So Doug moronically thinks it's a good idea to tell Stewart about this dinosaur power that he has. Okay, I can come up with a million reasons why he shouldn't have done that. Stewart is just like, yeah, you need an exorcism, bro. You've gone insane. And Doug's like, well, that didn't go as planned. So then Doug has a flashback of his parents. They're all just laughing at the kitchen table. At what? No one knows. Just laughing. Oh, okay. Ha 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 ha. And then we see them in a car, and his dad gives him some advice. And then he's like, hop on out. Mom and I will take a drive, and then we'll pick you up from Priest College. Priest College? Is that like the name of the college? It's just called Priest College? Very descriptive.
Never
We're then
heard of
introduced to this vampire-looking guy. Apparently, this is the exorcist that will
vampire?
cure Doug. He looks like an extra from Pirates of the
Wait a minute.
Caribbean. So Doug...
Doesn't that look like Dave Navarro to you? I could be wrong, but he definitely looks. It looks like him.
tells him about everything that's happening. And then Father Stewart has this very random flashback of a time when he was in Vietnam. He watches his good friend die right in front of him, and then he's seen writing a note to his friend's parents, you know, letting them know what happened. And then his wife comes out of nowhere in Vietnam. How'd she get there? Who knows?
Adeline! Adeline!
James!
And she runs towards him. He's like, hell yeah, this is the best day of my life. Except she's now in a war zone. So she runs towards him, and then she gets eviscerated right in front of his face. She literally turns into a puddle. And then one of his fellow soldiers goes, there's not much we can do for her. She's too far gone.
Another goddamn VC trip, man.
I don't think we can do anything for her now. She's too far gone.
You don't say. Apparently she walked on a trip mine, I guess. That was literally right in front of Stewart. That didn't affect Stewart at all, so that's weird. Flash forward to current time. Vampire guy has his cape on now. So he's more in character. He's got a satanic key thing around his neck. Very cute. As this vampire guy chants, you can see that the dinosaur is starting to come out of Doug. Stewart is in shock. Do you see his face? That is the face of shock. So Dino Doug, in a fit of fury, pokes Stewart with one of his dino claws. In this one shot of Doug transforming, he's just straight up wearing dinosaur gloves. They're just straight up dinosaur gloves. I love how before Doug attacks Stewart, he basically just like waves at him with the dino gloves on. He's like, hey, I'm a dinosaur. So if Doug just randomly lashed out at Stewart when he turned into a dinosaur because he couldn't control himself, then how come he could control himself when Carol was around? Remember when Carol was being held up by the guy with the gun, and then he ate the guy with the gun, but not Carol? Why? He can't control himself in the dinosaur form. At least that's what they showed us with the Stewart scene. It's not making a whole lot of sense, movie. They're definitely trying to make this movie as ridiculous as possible, and I appreciate that. In the next scene, Doug is stumbling through the forest as 3 ninjas track him down. The lead ninja, who's Australian, you can tell because he says crikey.
Crikey.
Okay. I would question why there's an Australian ninja, but what I really want to know is why he wasn't using a boomerang. There's a...
You know, remember when I did the best of bad acting, the clip from the Ninja Commandments, they don't look like, well, I know the fact that the outfits that they're wearing are identified as ninjas, but they're both Caucasian. And if that's the case, then why would they need to be dubbed? That makes no sense, unless if this is from unless the cast are European. I don't know, but one thing is for certain that you have a ninja with an Australian accent that says crikey. Let's continue.
Girl ninja and a Chinese ninja. The Chinese ninja is just thinking about this girl. And does this have any relevance to the plot?
It doesn't make any sense.
None whatsoever. In fact, Doug kills them pretty much instantly. And then they flash a picture of the girl on screen right afterwards. Why? So Doug runs to Carol's place all distraught. He's injured by the ninjas. So I guess he's ninjured by the ninjas.
Okay,
but Carol is horny and she doesn't care. So she's like, just kiss me. Sorry, no time to mend, Dougie boy. It's time for a kiss. And then Doug goes, I think I'm still bleeding. Like, I kind of need help. And she's like, I don't care. Kiss me. Then the movie plays rock music as they undress and fuck. The next morning, ninjas invade their room as a fight breaks out. Carol the hooker and Doug as just normal Doug. Not a dinosaur, just Doug. Somehow they're able to defeat these trained ninjas. One of the ninjas says, "Remember your faith, Father Jones," before passing out, and he has a cross on him. So all this is connected. Oh my god, guys, something's happening. So these are like Christian ninjas. The ninjas of Christ. The NOC. In the next scene, Father Stewart is being held at the ninja camp. Of course he understands Mandarin, because why wouldn't you? Right? Everybody in this movie understands Mandarin for some reason. So this master ninja guy has this evil plan that makes no sense, but I'll explain it to you anyway. So this group of ninjas are like really devout Christians, and they desperately want to convert everybody else to their religion. And the best way to do this is to get everybody hooked on your very addictive drug, and then stop production altogether. So they're all addicts, but they have nothing to use. They will all turn to God because they don't have their drug anymore. It's perfect. It's a seamless plan. And then they'll have their army of religious people to take over the world. That's their plan. I can think of a billion reasons this wouldn't work. What, are you the only supplier of this drug? No, you're not. Because they said earlier in the movie that it's cocaine. And just because someone is going through rehab doesn't mean they'll automatically turn to God. Father Stewart doesn't question any of this. He's just like, it's inhuman. So the master ninja guy is like, all right, no use for you. And then they kill Stewart. One of the ninjas that infiltrated Doug's place told Doug where the ninja hideout is. They don't show how this happened. It just did.
Good thing that ninja told us where the hideout was before he died.
I don't need to see it. That's good enough. I mean, I would like to imagine that he was like biting on the guy's arm in his dino form, and then Carol was like, where is the ninja base? You're gonna tell me, or he's gonna eat your arm. So Doug and Carol go to the ninja base. Doug has nunchucks. Very cool. I don't know why he needs them. I mean, he turns into a T-Rex, but with very little arms that couldn't use the nunchucks. I mean, it would be kind of funny, a T-Rex with nunchucks. Just like... Remember this random white ninja? Well, that's Sam, Doug's brother, that we didn't know existed until now. So, yeah. Apparently Sam was ignored by their parents, and they only loved Doug. And this made Sam hate his parents. Why did their parents not like Sam? Well, they don't explain that. They just didn't like him. It's probably because he was born a ginger and doesn't have a soul, and they're very religious. In his defense, he's not full ginger. He's like 5% ginger. He's like just barely ginger. And he's like blonde. If you took a sugar cookie and like put a little dab of ginger on it, like a little boop, bloop, like a little bit, that would be him. But no, this family, no ginger allowed. At least that's what I think. They don't explain it, so. Remember those flashback scenes of Doug and his family? Well, Sam was there too, but they were all ignoring Sam. He's just standing there looking miserable with his glass of OJ. And then the scene in the car, he's in like the trunk area. He just pops up. Hey, I'm here. Why are you there? They're dropping Doug off at college. Did you just come along for the ride? And their father keeps saying, you're my only son.
You're my only son.
Why do they dislike Sam so much? F's in the chat for Sam. So Sam was the guy that hired the mermaid dude to kill their parents. And he just happens to be working with the ninja group that wants to kill Doug, right? Because he touched the tooth thing. It's connected very seamlessly. I mean, it's... So Sam takes out this sword, and he's like, I will not stain the sword of my ancestors with the blood of you, because my parents loved you more, and that's why I hate you. And so he throws the sword into the ground, and he runs at Doug. So then 2 minutes into the fight, Sam reaches for the sword anyway. You know, he's like, all right, well, I take back what I said. I kind of need the sword now. But not before Doug uses the Dino Force. And he pulls the blade towards his hand. And boom, Doug has the sword now. What are you going to do, Sam? You're screwed. So Sam just kind of stands there as Doug walks up and stabs him in the leg. And Doug goes,
your ancestors are my ancestors.
Do you guys get it? Because they're related. They're brothers. Very powerful stuff. Sam's death scene is very wet. Like there's something wrong with his blood. It just looks like red water. Like red Gatorade. They
Or
probably would have had
Kool-Aid.
better luck with ketchup. So Carol,
It's-
who has no
it's
training,
100%
takes
it's
on 3
Kool-Aid.
ninjas at once because the power of a hooker. That's why. So this random black ninja calls to this random white ninja in a tent. Oh my god, this is like a super ninja. And he pulls out a sword. And he walks up to Carol and just, like, slices her. She doesn't do anything. She just kind of stands there and he just slices her. It's not very deep, though. Like, it's just a surface level cut. But she's coughing up blood anyway.
still-
So Doug runs over to her and he's holding her and she's, like, coughing up blood. And she's like, oh my god, I'm dying. This is it for me. And he's like, no, please, no. And so she dies. And the ninjas are crying in the background. You know, they feel for Doug in this moment. It makes sense. Like, they wouldn't be trying to kill him
Why
right
would
now. This is
ninjas
a really
feeling
powerful
sorry
moment. I mean,
for
where's
a
the
dead
master
hooker?
ninja? What is he doing? Is he just, like, jerking off in a tent? Probably. So Dino Doug is not happy. But the ninjas don't really seem all that threatened. They're like, yo, look at all of us. There's only one of you. What are you going to do, huh?
Okay,
That
there is a black ninja.
until
Okay.
he becomes the VelociPastor, or the Veloci Hunchback, because what the hell is wrong with this dino suit that they're using? Tyranniclungo looking ass put way too many books in his backpack as a kid or something, because damn, something's going wrong. I'm just saying, Dino Doug desperately needs a back brace.
Are you serious?
But regardless of the hunchback, he waddles around and he struts his stuff and he defeats all these ninjas. I like that there's a hole in his crotch. This dinosaur's dick is just missing. Poor dinosaur is a eunuch, it seems. Is that because he's a pastor? They can't use it anyway. The fight scene goes on a little bit longer than it should, I think. There's one part when this ninja, like, jumps over the dinosaur and knocks it to the ground, and it's so funny. So the master ninja guy finishes, like, masturbating in the tent. So he comes out, and he shoots the dinosaur in the leg. So the dino is out of the Doug. It's not Dino Doug anymore, it's just Doug. The master walks over and starts, like, prodding the arrow in his leg like a dickhead. Like, ooh, does that hurt? Yeah. But there's one thing that the master forgot. The dino hands are immune to the arrow's powers. And so Doug uses his dino claws to murder the master ninja.
Do you have any last word? VelociPastor!
So he uses his super strong
Okay,
dino claws to remove the master's head.
That's a
and
dummy.
it's so realistic. It looks so good. Incredible. Incredible work. I'm pretty sure they just found like a regular mannequin head and put like a Chinese mustache on it. And then there's a random quote by Gandhi put on the screen. No reason. And it looks like this is where the movie's going to end. But it doesn't. It just keeps going. Remember when Carol was like coughing up blood and she clearly died earlier? Well, boo-hoo, you're the fool, because she's fine. The next scene shows Doug at the hospital talking to this ridiculous-looking doctor. He looks like Dr. Mario. He has that big thing on his head. And he's smoking in the office. It's very strange. So Doug goes to see Carol, and she's fine. She even says so. Twice.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
And if you weren't convinced, the screen says it too. Thanks, movie. I really appreciate that this movie puts things in layman's terms, you know? Like, just in case I didn't really fully understand, they make sure I do. The movie ends with Doug leaning against this badass car, because he's a new man. He tossed religion aside, and he's now just Dino Doug. It's time for him to take the fight to crime as a new superhero. The VelociPastor. Hell yeah. Also, he has a wedgie. Thought I would mention that. This scene kind of gave me Mad Max vibes. I'm not sure if that's what they were going for, but them leaning up against this car and I don't know. I'm looking way too far into it. Thank you, Brendan Steer, for this masterpiece. This movie was an amazing meme. I loved it. It's so stupid. So yeah, I think that will do it. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you got this far, I really appreciate it. New season of Alien Clothing is available now. Season 7. Hell yeah. We got a bunch of new stuff over there. Go over to alienclothing.com to see all the new shirts. I'm wearing one of them in this video. This is it. It's fucking awesome.
Cool
so yeah,
shit.
go check out all those designs. I think you guys will like them a lot. If there's any other movie that you think I should review, please put it in the comment section down below. Alright guys, see you in the next one. And always remember, if dinosaurs don't exist in your religion, they exist in your hearts. That was a quote by Gandhi.
Is that supposed to be a fucking ending credits? Oh my sweet lord. What in the hell? Oh, my brain. It's got so many questions of how in the blue hell that this is what you consider a movie when the plot is completely so complex that it has no sense at all. A magical tooth of a velociraptor that was found in China, and ninjas, and you have a pastor that is cursed. I literally, it's stupid. It's stupid. Jesus. Definitely, this is one movie that I never heard of, and I need a drink very badly. This is so messed up. And everything, especially they got a guy that is literally a full dinosaur suit that looks like it just got an extra baggage to the back of it. I don't know, but wow. This is so awkwardly, and it's just ninjas get hooked up on cocaine. Maybe that's the reason why that everything by script and the plot makes no sense, because it's completely just straight out of the freaking Pluto. My God. But at least I made it through, because everything was just so messed up, and including one ninja that says "Koiki." I almost about to break, because it's like, you cannot be serious. Oh boy, I think that's gonna be good enough right here. So unless there is any other challenges that you can try to pull me with, because not to be cocky, but hey, at least that I survived. And not once I did not crack okay, maybe I cracked a smile, but at least I didn't giggle. So at least that I made it through. So unless that you have a different opinion, that's fine. But if you enjoy that, and Jesus Christ, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a sequel to this, because it would be even worse. But let's give it up for Elvis for making this video, and Q with a lot of puns and jokes. Good effort for that. But if you guys enjoyed that, let's leave it a likes, and also leave the comments down below, and I will catch y'all in the next video. So take care, guys, and be safe.